plane. Just going to do this real quick so that to show you what, any questions you guys had. Yeah. All right, so actually, while I'm at it, let me show you one more thing, which is another way you can do this is the same sketch. So in this case, if I wanted to do the cat sketch, so then when it revolves, I do have the two parts, which are still separate. You can also select a feature. You can select which one. So see how down here, when you have more, which one to use. So if I just wanted to do the bottom one, I can do, or if I want to do both, then I can click into here and then I can select this. All right. So in terms of the save body thing, if you can see, I've got two bodies. Let me give you the separate things just so it'll be clearer. I'm going to use that same sketch to do a second revolve for the cat. But this time I'm going to use the other one. Alright, so now I've got these two solid bodies. So okay, so let me show you one other thing. So let me delete this. Just so as not to hopefully confuse you any further, but let me delete this. Okay, so I've got my first one there. I'll do another sketch on the front plane. And this is where I bet a lot of you guys may have gotten confused. So I'm going to draw that same sketch I did with the cat to revolve. And let me just, so if I put this, if I bring this line down so that it's actually intersecting, or even if it's, even if it's in the same place as the other line, what will happen when you do the revolve there, because they're actually overlapping the two bodies. See what I mean? They're intersecting with each other. So I suspect that's probably where some of you guys went wrong. If your sketch isn't touching though, then that won't happen. So if this line is just, you don't even have the option to merge bodies. I mean, you can click it, but it doesn't.
And it automatically go in solid bodies?
Even though I had it clicked, it wasn't touching anything, so it still stayed a separate body.
What I do where I was because for so long when I was save bodies that you couldn't get it to recognize that there were two different things before, that they weren't touching. They kept checking.
Well, if they show up, if your solid body folder shows up, that means you have separate bodies. Because if you don't see this solid body folder, it means there's only one solid body in the whole thing.
I've never looked for it, but then to overcome that, I made it when it was all together, and then I went back and pulled that thread up above, and then pulled the one sketch way down, and then flipped things back and unsuppressed all the pieces that I had suppressed in order to move the sketch, or move the one body away from the one sketch. And so,
so just to finish out this thing here, so I've got my two bodies. Convenience for visually, you can change the color. Talk more about rendering, more about that later, but just for the sake of your models, you can go over here to appearances, select body, and then you can just, pick a different color for the different body. So it's what, so that's just an easy way to sort of know what's what. So now I'm going to, as you may remember, you can rename these. So this is the bottom part. then this one is the cap. And then to create the derived parts, you right-click here and go to Save Body. The other way to get to that is Insert Features, Save Body. Same difference. If you do auto assign names, it'll take the. Oh, it's telling me I haven't saved my part yet, so it'll save my. Go back to save bodies, auto assign names. Oops. I must already have something. Yeah, so if you do this, oops, sorry, wrong thing. Save bodies. So you'll see I tried to do the auto assign names, and it didn't do it. It just named them generic names, body 1 or body 2, body 3. And the reason for that is because my body name, I actually from last week I had a part called body top is where I have everything else. So now it's showing me the assembly, and in my assembly are my 2 parts. So I have the cap and the bottle. Oops, that's not. There's the assembly, sorry. There's my cap and bottle with the part in the assembly. So, clarify things for the save body.
How do you really explode from there?
From here, the explode, you do insert, exploded view.
But then,
What's
when
that?
you go to the drawing sheet, and you put in like the normal view, it's going to be exploded because it's exploded on here.
Alright, let me show you how that works. So I'm going to explode this.
All these pages, but
So I'm just going to save that. Now that I've got the exploded view, I'm going to make a new drawing. Template. And I want to put the assembly in here. And you're right that it brings it in whatever way you left it. And so the way you see this up here left, you can say show an exploded state or not. I think I pointed that out last week. Sorry about that.
Don't have that option unless you select the exploded view within the assembly.
Right. If you haven't created an exploded view, that option will not be there. But let me just put a one of these other. I'll put the base part in there. Then you see it doesn't give me that option. It's giving me a different option. So because this is just a part, not an assembly. So. Okay. Let's go back to the thread. Anybody have questions? Any more questions about that? About save bodies or the drawing views thing? All right. Go back to my original part for the talking about thread. So did you guys have problems with the thread period or particularly like getting the threads to match? Did anybody have problems just making the thread? You want me to go over that again? Everybody got that? Okay.
Repeat the master edit.
What's that?
Said repeat the master edit.
I'm not just...
this guy's really good at it.
He's really good at it.
Oh.
He's really good at it.
Got it.
So he kind of helped us.
All right, good. The trick for aligning the threads is to, let's see, the easiest way to do it, is really to start with planes that are just opposite the thickness of the thread. So, for example, I know I had you guys start with your sketch for your circular sketch for your threads on, for example, this face. You could also do one way to make the threads line up nicely would be to, if I use this for my circle sketch, and I'll just use this edge, I'll convert that with my circle sketch, but then, because I want to, well, let me go ahead and do it.
Can you explain what conversion is?
It means to, so this is my sketch plane, right? So if I want to bring something from somewhere else into my sketch, like project it onto my sketch plane, that's basically what it's doing. So if I wanted this circle to be on my sketch, remember my sketch is on this plane, not this top plane. So it's this other, I want this, but I want it to convert to my other plane. Let me try it. Let me do this to be more clear. So if I want this circle on my sketch plane, and I go to my sketch here, and then I point that edge again, and I hit convert entities, it's going to create a line based on that circle.
So let's say you come across the bottle. They've already come. You convert it into that bottle.
Yeah.
So now I'll become a little bit.
If I convert entities on this now, it's going to give me another circle where this one already is, because this is vertical. If it wasn't vertical, maybe this will be clear without, if I do it, I'll show you a different way. Let's say I had a different sketch on my top plane. So that sketch is on my top plane, and I want it, if I do a new sketch up here, and I want some reference to one of these lines, then I can do convert entities and then click on these. And what you can see what it does is it projects that line up onto my sketch.
So you have to select the plane that you want first, and then go to sketch or whatever you want.
No, you start a sketch on the plane you want the sketch to be on, and then you can refer to any other thing that's, as long as it's not another plane that's parallel to that sketch, it'll convert. So I'll show you that more with what we're going to do today, because it'll come in handy for what you're going to do for this week's homework. Alright, so going back to my threads here.
Does it matter how many turns you put into it or anything like that?
For these purposes, no. In real life, yes. I mean, if you're thinking about like a soda bottle, usually it's about maybe 1 1/4 turn. If you are thinking about a radioactive waste can, you probably want to have like 100 turns, so you can't accidentally flip it off. There's certain things that, like this bottle I have here is it's a 1/4 turn. That's all it takes. And that's, for a lot of things you want, there's a balance between how secure it is and, how tight the threading is, all those kinds of things. I mean, it depends on the situation, but it would be, for something like a consumer product, you probably don't want a lot of turn, but if it's not going to be under a ton of pressure, then it doesn't need a whole lot of surface contact. So. Alright, so I've got my first thread there. So if I want to have another one that's just like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another plane that's just offset from this plane that I'm already on. So this first reference is that paint face that I have selected there. And then this one is offset by, let's go a little less, I'm going to go 5. And then I'm going to sketch on my new plane. Instead of converting entities, you can always just draw a circle and make it concentric.
I was having trouble getting that option on the line.
The concentric? Yeah. So to get that to happen, you just item, the circle. The other tricky thing is, well, I'll come back to that, but, and then hold control and select the two, so you have two items showing you here what you have selected, and then eccentric. If you have a third thing selected, you won't get that option, so if you accidentally have your plane also selected, just see it'll show you all three, then it doesn't give you those options, because you can't have a plane concentric or something. So if you just delete that out of there, then, well, just reselect two items that can be concentric. You'll be able to get that to work. That seems like that might be what is going on.
I mean, I was thinking, I don't know what.
Okay. What's that?
It helps to select the concentric option before, because it only lets you select the ones that will.
Right. Yeah. True. The other thing that can happen sometimes is when you just put down a circle, that sometimes you'll put it so that it creates a relationship. So if I were to put this down, maybe I'm not getting it to do it very easily, but in theory, you can accidentally get it to be concentric or coincident with something else. So in this case, it's coincident with the edge, so I can't get it to go work to make it concentric. So sometimes if you accidentally create a relation that you don't actually want, then that can cause you problems. So, once I get my concentric back, I'm going to make my outer thread just slightly offset from the other one. Alright, so you see how I've got the circle that's up a little bit off of where my first one was? So now when I make my next helix, based on the second circle, and if I leave all these settings the same as they were for the other, see I have two spirals that are the same pitch and number of rotations. So now when I go to create those threads, by sweeping on those, so now if I go create the plane, we'll do that's the wrong plane there. Sketching on my plane. I'm just going to, just for speed, use the circle here. Like that. Here's my and you guys remember that I made the second plane 0.075 up, so I'm going to make the diameter. So that's 0.6. That's too big. And when I sweep that, and again, under options, here's the merge. The merge result is down here under options. So in this case, I do want to merge it. Oh my God. The other thing is when you have multiple bodies, you'll get this feature scope option down here, which means which ones do you want it to merge with. So in this case, the only one I wanted to merge with is this one. I don't want it to merge with cat, which I'm not sure if it would anyway because of the, but since I have it hidden, I don't have to worry about it. So, all right, so there's my first thread.
But it would still merge with the cat.
What's that?
Would it still merge with the cat in those things?
If I selected it, yes, it would still merge.
No, but would it do it automatically?
Yes, by default it would. Anything that it intersects, it will. just look for ECQ, let me plane.
That's good.
Yeah, this is all solid now. So,
Yeah. So you got them to match up by all set up at the beginning of
yeah, so the two planes, the first spiral is built on this top surface of the bottle, and the second one is the second plane I created, or the first plane I created, which is parallel to that plane, but just up a little bit. And so now, when I create the second sweep,
What if you made the second note counterclockwise versus clockwise?
what is the what?
Would it still match up? Well,
Yeah, I mean,
started
if
the other way.
you built your plane and your sweep from the other end of the spiral, sure, you would do it counterclockwise. But that would be building from the top down as opposed to the bottom up, which is what I've done here. So, but yeah, that should work if you build from the other end. So,
And I think that he likes to hook onto the cap.
I'll show you. So as you can see here, my circle is sticking into the bottle instead of the cap. So I'm going to change my sketch here, my original sketch, make it a little bit bigger.
Whoa!
So
Like an intersecting cap.
yeah, well, so it doesn't intersect. So this thread doesn't intersect the bottle. Is what I was going for. Let me show my cap here. I'll do this in a cutaway view so you can kind of see what's going on. So sometimes you'll have this happen. When you have like geometry that's almost exactly on the front plane but isn't, so in this case this sketch, because it's on that plane that's just slightly tilted off of the front plane, because it's built on the end of the spiral, you'll get this thing where it won't let you do the cutaway view, but all you have to do is just nudge it a little bit off of that, and it will be fine. But anyway, so you can see now that my circle is outside of the bottle, but it is intersecting with the cap. And again, my cap sketch, isn't very accurate, but in theory you would want it to be so that it lined up in the middle. But now when I sweep my sketch this way, and again, the merge result option is there, and then I want to select the cap. So now, again, like I said, it's because the threads would never look to see the shape, but just for the sake of doing this quickly, hopefully you guys get the idea. The other thing you could do is with bodies and with parts, if you can make them transparent, just change transparency when you right click, so then you can see through and see that those threads line up. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question about lining up the threads? All right. Any more questions about threads before we move on to circular patterns? All right. Okay, so going to use a extruded cut. I don't know if you guys have discovered this, but when you're doing your extrudes and stuff, you can use things like through all, and it'll just cut through everything. It doesn't have to have a particular dimension to it. You can also do up to next. In this case, it's the same thing. You can do up to surface, in which case you need to select the surface. There's a lot of different options here that will come in handy over. You could also do offset from surface, which means if I wanted to not quite get to that last surface, there's an option for that. But for now, I'm going to go through all. So you can see my cut goes all the way through. With see the circular pattern. Click underneath where the button for linear pattern. You get the circular pattern. And this is asking you for your axis.
Wait, are you doing this on the extruded cut?
Yes, I was going to use the extruded cut as the thing I'm going to pattern. So it's actually up here for me. So if you just put your mouse over any of these boxes and just hold it there, you'll get the pop-up that'll tell you what it's looking for. So in this case, the axis. So again, you guys may remember you can turn on your temporary axis to show existing axes. You could also use a line from your original sketch that you rotated around. That would work too. But the temporary axis is convenient. And then it asks me what do I want to pattern? And here I'm going to just select in my drawing that extruded cut. You can also select it out of the tree. So if you click here and go down your tree, you can select it like that. It's the same difference. You can select it in the viewing box or in the tree. I'm going to do a little more. And then I've got my, turn off my temporary axis. So I've got my little rib bottle there. Pretty cool on circular pattern?
I was fine with it, but it was hard to get the circular pattern and then shell it, and
Okay.
vice versa.
Okay, well let me show you how that works. So I'm gonna hide this cap. And I'll give it a try. I think this thread might give me trouble, but I'll show you what's going on here. So when it's doing the shell, what it's actually doing is taking all the surfaces and offsetting them the amount you say. So in this case, I put 0.1 is my thickness. So you can see that when it offsets this surface by 0.1, it creates this surface. You guys see what I mean there? So what happens when you have trouble is, let me use this, edit this original. If I so right now I have that right on the middle, so I'm going to delete that relation. And move it inboard of the center line there. And I think the shell will fail now. Nope.
Make it bigger.
Like when there's too little space in the shell.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens is when two things are offsetting into each other, that can cause problems. I don't know what?
What is that?
Wow, that's frustrating.
This
happened to me.
This is the part that I changed my bottle design like 8 times.
Alright. So here's what happens. The circle is so big now that when I did the circular pattern, it's deleting everything except for that one little piece. So let me edit my circular pattern. See how the only thing that's left is this little piece right here.
But how'd you get that to show up? I always wanted it to show me that.
The preview.
Yeah.
Down here where you have in the options, there's preview, full preview, or partial preview.
So when it says preview,
A lot of people
I'm
ask that
searching
question.
for so long. I'm like, I just want to see what I'm gonna make.
But if it's not going to work, if the pattern's failing, then it's not going to give you a preview anyway. So that's one way you'll know whether it's going to fail or succeed.
but this is the partial preview?
Yeah.
Yeah, the full preview. Well, this one it'll be identical, but when it was giving me the partial preview, when I had it higher, when it was causing that causing that problem, you'll see if I go full preview, it just shows me the thing. Like basically, it's having an error. It's having can't handle it. So, but the partial is, I'm not working as hard to figure it out. It thinks it has it works. So. All right. Well, I'm having a hard time making my shell fail here, but so what will happen is basically if you have, like I'm saying about the surfaces, what's that? Do you does somebody have a file that they had a problem shelling that we can look at? Should I pull up one of somebody's homework? Anyway?
You can pull up mine. I think that if you increase the shell at all, it will fail.
That's it?
Yeah.
So what, the shell was failing? Okay, so if I roll back, so that's why it's so thin, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Put it back to how it was. There's nothing obvious to me that's causing this.
Yeah, it hasn't seen like
fail.
every bottle like 8. I made like 8 of them. I know.
So I'm gonna try. You can also, if you want to try things, you can suppress features. So I'm gonna suppress that and then see if the shell still fails with the larger.
I don't know. It doesn't like curve.
Okay, so by doing this, you can see that it works. The problem is not the bottle itself. The problem is the cut sleeve.
But then when you do the cut sleeve after you've already shelled it, then it just doesn't hold.
Right. What I'm getting at is the way to troubleshoot is to find out where the problem's coming from.
I know, that's why I had problems with the circle pattern or the shell. That's why I said I had problems like combining the two, not like doing one or the other.
Okay, so I'm going to unpress the cut sweep and leave the circular pattern, see if that's the problem.
Is the circular pattern just vertical?
Yeah. Well,
Well, it might be because you're
It's
going
hard to
vertical
like
versus
this.
Alright, so we've identified that the problem is in the cut sweep. You guys see how I figured that out? The problem is not the circular pattern, the problem is not the revolve, because they work fine for the shell. So that means there's something in here that's causing the problem. So let's take a look at what you've got. Okay, so looking at this, I think I can see what's going on here. And what I think it is that this curve right in here is too sharp, so that when it's trying to offset the surface, it's so if you think about like if this shape right in here is it's like this shape, right? So when you try to offset 0.1 from that shape, it's like the lines are having to cross each other in order to do that. So when there's complex curves in there, so I bet if we change this sketch, we're going to flatten that out a little bit. I suspect we may have to go more than we have to tweak it a little bit more, but I suspect that's where the problem's coming from. We'll find out.
So pretty much you can't really design the way you want it. You'll just have to compromise.
No, see there, it works fine now, so that's all it was. You design how you want, you just have to build it in a slightly different way. So, but you understand what I mean? So the curvature, there's actually a way you can show this. Let me just show this. You can turn on, if you go to View, Display Curvature, it shows you, when you hover over, it shows you exactly what the curvature radius is of that surface. And so, this